What's going on, guys? Sam here with Fins Twins TV, back with another video. Today we're back down here in the studio putting together an instructional video for you guys. Today I'm going to be talking about the top 8 Lanier bass baits to fish with in the springtime for this big old spotted bass. So one of the most obvious ones for us is going to be the Spro rock crawler. Caught so many big fish on this bait, and we like it in that crawfish pattern. That one in particular is the mud bug pattern. We caught all kind of fish on all of the crawfish patterns made by Spro. With this rock crawler, we like to keep the boat in about 20 foot of water and cast up to the bank. Last weekend we won that tournament fishing with that bait. We're catching them anywhere between 7 and 10 foot of water, and that bait runs 9 to 14 foot of water. So we made sure to keep that bait on the bottom, running through those big boulders and rocks off of those points and catching some big spotted bass. Next we have the 5-inch Yamamoto Senko Arm Fish Nico rig style, which is a chat this became much more popular here in the last year or so out at Lake Lanier, and we saw a lot of guys doing it last weekend at the FLW tour event. Now how this Nico rig works is you put through a little nail weight in the front end of this Senko arm, and you're going to whack your rig it so it looks like a bait fish feeding on the bottom, very similar to a Ned rig. Also, because that weight, this bait's able to get to the bottom much faster. You can fish a lot deeper water. You actually see a lot of guys fishing these things out on points and even off of big deep humps. Next you have the paddle tail swim bait, a bait we almost always throw in white, and we like this bait so much because of its versatility. You can fish these things slow rolling it on the bottom, very similar to what you do with a spinner bait, but also if you're seeing some fish on the graph moving up a little higher, you can fish these things in the middle of the water column, and also you can throw these things around brush. So a super versatile bait and a great bait for catching some big spotted bass. Next I'm going to talk about just a small crawl colored Robo Worm. Super finesse. Let's see, a 4.5-inch straight tail, so about as finesse as it gets. But you can throw these little worms 2 different types of way. One, drop shotting, which I'm going to talk about first. And drop shotting, we almost fish these things vertical almost all the time. Now what we like to do is get around brush piles where a lot of fish are stacked up and schooling, and we can pull up on these fish, drop down to them, and almost watch them eat that bait. But also what we like to use them for is a Carolina rig, which you throw a lot of time out in deeper water in the springtime. And the great thing about a Carolina rig is it's pretty finesse, but also you can get that bait suspended off the bottom and get that bait right in front of those fish's noses. And now we have the Barley Swim bait. This one here is a 7-inch in white, but we also throw them a lot in the bone pattern, even in the 5-inch, and we switch it up a lot and see what those fish are eating. We almost always throw these things out on offshore humps, but also around brush piles, and this is one of my favorite baits to throw out there on Lanier during the springtime and even all the way back around to the summertime. It's a great bait. We actually won a tournament on them almost right around this time last year out on Lake Lanier. Next we have the jerk bait, one of the staple baits for us. This one here is the Megabass Vision 110, one we throw almost all the time. We're out there on Lanier, and there's so much stuff you can do with these things. You can fish them around docks, which you like to do a little before springtime, which is almost right where we are right now. But also you can throw them out in deeper waters, fishing them on humps. We like to fish these things a lot around brush piles, and I even caught about a 4.5-pound spot just fishing a regular old point, fishing with this jerk bait, throwing it up shallow and just ripping that thing through there. Now lastly we have the spinner bait. This one here is the spot sticker in solid white. Now there's 2 different times we like to throw this here spinner bait. One's the most obvious. When that wind starts howling, we like to get out there in that big water and throw this big old spinner bait. These blades make a lot of commotion. You can end up catching a lot of big fish. But also out there at Lanier right now we have a lot of new grass showing up there in the shallower water. Where the water was down this last year, had some grass growing up, and now it's flooded. And this bait right here got all this vibration. Those big fish will get up there in that grass, and you can run this thing through that grass and catch some big old fish. You can do the same exact thing with a chatterbait, which is starting to be a big thing out there at Lanier with that new grass showing up. I'm going to keep this video short for you guys, just looking through and trying to find some new baits to try out there at Lanier. And I hope you guys are able to get out there and get on some big fish using these new baits that I just told you guys about. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. make sure to scroll down and click that red subscribe button. Now I'll see you guys next time on Fenced Ones TV.